What's up, YouTube? So getting the car ready to plasti dip here. There's a couple things that need to be done. Well, 3 or 4 things that need to be done. One is the side trim. I didn't like it. I need to fill in holes behind it, and that's kind of the process that we're going over today. So the first thing you need to do for this job is take the side trim off, and when you do, there'll be holes all along the side from that. 12 to be exact. 12 holes. Wow, that's just a lot. They're varying in size. They're about maybe quarter inch size holes. So I'm going to be attempting to fill those today. I've done this once in the past with Bondo. Didn't really put anything on the back of it. Worked well, but after a while you kind of see the shadow of the hole, if you will, after a couple of years. So I'm trying something a little bit different, something a little bit stronger, and then we'll kind of go from there. But so what I bought was various items here, but the most important is Bondo glass. This is a fiberglass filler. It's a little bit stronger than just regular Bondo. I have body filler here as well. I'll be using that kind of over top to make sure that you know, I fill in any minor imperfections that may be left from the bigger part that is that. We have spreaders right here to spread that on, and then a sanding block. All this stuff, I had the Bondo, but I am also primer included too. But all 4 of these items right here cost me $40 at AutoZone, so you can do this for pretty cheap, or I'm hoping. One thing I'm doing, which I didn't do last time, is just doing research on this. Different people have suggested different things, but basically if you just have a hole and it's level with the surface that you're working with, you want to kind of dimple it, if you will, kind of push it in. That way it's kind of the Bondo or the fiberglass has something better to adhere to when you sand it down, because if you sand it down, you're just looking, and you don't dimple it, it'll just kind of be adhering to the sides of the hole. And it's really thin metal, so you're really probably going to get screwed on that. So what I'm going to use is probably this to dimple the holes a little bit. Basically, you want something cone shaped. This is a step bit. So what I'll do is I'll hammer that into the hole. Okay, so this is gonna look pretty bad, and it is. Again, do it yourself, kind of just working with what I got here, trying to do this as cheaply as possible. I'm more of a function guy, so form, if I were really big on the form, I would get this welded, and then the car painted. But I'm plasti dipping the car, kind of cheaping out. So I just want to fill these holes, make them look as good as possible. I'm not trying to half-ass it and really fuck it up. I want to make it look good, but there's better tools for this job. There's body, you know, hammers, body work hammers that you can use for this kind of stuff, but this should work for what we need. So we can put this kind of in this hole and then kind of hammer it. And you don't want to, you don't want to just like mar it totally, but you can see that I kind of bent that, that hole down a little bit. I already did this one a little bit too. This is one that isn't done. This is one that is. You can kind of see a little bit of a difference in terms of the side here as well. Let's see if we can get a side profile. You can see that it's definitely in a little bit, and then these are not. So the next step after doing that would be to sand it down. Open this puppy up. This is just a sanding block. Just a hook and loop sanding block. Comes with various sandpapers here, 80, 180, and 320. I'm going to use the 180. Just kind of sand this up. I'm going to throw in the 80 just to really speed up the process. You can really see the bare metal there. Okay. Let's do this one. Okay, so we got some good bare metal here. Let me go a little bit more right there. You can clearly see the divot in that. And that one. Okay. This part that still has paint on it, you can tell it's because that was where I actually kind of dented in. Again, the better approach for this would be to weld this. The problem is, welding it's expensive, can be expensive. You need a good shop to do it, and you can't really do it yourself if you're kind of a beginning welder, just because you can get the metal too hot, and if you do that, you'll warp the actual body panel. So you really don't want to do that. Yeah, you really don't want to do that. So this is kind of a cheaper fix. Again, easier, and it should turn out very well. Okay, spray this down. Get it off. Okay, we got bare metal. That's what we wanted. So now we're gonna go over here. We're gonna mix this stuff up. Okay, so here is the Bondo glass. I'm going to mix this up, as you can see with my nifty stir here, a broken steak knife. I've never used this stuff before. I've used Bondo a little bit, not a lot. Don't really do much body work, but I guess we're kind of learning here. So I'm using my cardboard mixing station. And then you'll also use the same kind of hardener that you would for Bondo. So I'm only going to mix a little because we don't need to fill in like we're just kind of testing out those first 2 holes of the what, 24 I need to eventually fill. So I don't need all of this. Put that back in there. Put the lid on. Okay. And then the hardener. Don't want to go overboard on this. Probably way too much, but we'll mix it up. Probably be easier to mix up with the spreaders that I purchased. Yeah, I think I put way too much hardener in. We'll see in a second. Okay. We're going to go pretty liberally with it, just because we can always take some back if we need to, sanding. See if it's too, it'll actually fill in the hole or it's bubbling up. It's not really what I want, but I guess just because there's nothing backing it, so it makes it really hard. I remember it being this difficult with the actual Bondo. So we'll see in a second. What I'll do is I'll spread it out like that. There we go. I really want to get it off the body line. That's going to be very difficult to sand down. Oh shit, I had it too. So not fun, I will say that, not fun. But the trick is to get it as close as we can to filling in those gaps. I'm taking paper towels here and I'm going to wipe off the body line, like the actual crease here that we have. So I don't want to have to worry about sanding that, because that'll be pretty nasty. as much access as we can. There we go. Okay, that looks like a shit ton of fiberglass resin. I probably used way too much for my application, for what I actually need. But with that said, we'll let this harden for about, I think it says you can start fucking with it in like 15 minutes. Let it harden. See if it actually filled in the hole. Even if it doesn't fill in the hole all the way, that's not a big issue. As long as it's something that we can adhere to with the Bondo. As long as it gets the majority of it done. And then we can put a little bit of Bondo on and then kind of go from there. So, all right, let's give it some time to set up here. Okay, so we let it dry. It's not like 100% hard, but it definitely is sandable, I think. We'll try to sand it real quick and see what happens. You definitely want to wear a mask with this, just because this is fiberglass. So, yeah, I mean, you don't want to inhale that. So put the mask on and we'll go from there. I'm using 80 grit here. 80 grit. Just because I want to take a lot off. So. All right, so it looks pretty good. The only issues that I'm having right now is there's a line that I can feel going from the metal to the fiberglass, so I need to sand that down a little bit better. But I'm gonna let it dry a little bit more just to make sure that I don't just keep chipping it. Same with over here. But in terms of the holes being filled, looks like this did the job very well. Maybe some minor pitting. I could possibly get away without using any Bondo at all, but I probably will still use just a little bit, just to fill in like little spots here or there. But let's do a close up. Let's see, get a good angle from the side, from the top. Maybe sand a little bit more in this area. Probably sand. I still feel a little bit rough right there. But again, this is down to the bare metal, so I'm going to have to definitely primer this, obviously. And then kind of go from there. Sand a little bit more here than I would like. But all in all, I think it looks pretty good. Okay, so it is dried. I sanded it down a little bit more. You can see a little bit of kind of the hole left, maybe a little bit of imperfections, either one, but all in all looks pretty good. Right now we're going to put the Bondo on. I already have it mixed up, and then we'll kind of we'll go from there. Let's see. Said I already had it mixed up. It was close to mixed up. Don't need a lot of Bondo here. Smooth it out. Less Bondo you use, less chance of cracking, things of that sort. You don't just want to slather on Bondo, because then you run into issues. Is it cracking later on or something like that? So it's really all we need. Made a lot, but that should cover it right there. Guess I can put a little bit more here. And I'll level it out. Doesn't look great, but we're going to be sanding that. So we'll wait for that to dry, and then we'll sand that. Okay, so the Bondo looks to be dry. Let's go ahead and sand it. Again, mask up for this, and then we'll see how it looks. I'm going to use 180 for this. 180. I'll use the sanding box. I probably could have waited a little bit longer for this to dry a little bit more.
It's not going too bad, but it definitely isn't as hard as it could be. It's pretty cold out. Normally it would take about 20 minutes to dry, but it's been about an hour and it still isn't fully dry, but it's sandable, so we'll keep working with it.
Okay, so done sanding here. As you can see, this side has a little bit more built up Bondo, which I'm fine with. It was kind of a bigger hole anyway. It's smooth all the way down. This side didn't really have as much Bondo, filled in a little bit of pitting, but I think it came out pretty good. So right now what we're going to do is, as we're looking at that, we're going to apply this anti-rust filler primer. I mean, this is from AutoZone. You can get any kind of filler primer is what I use, just because it'll fill in those imperfections if there are any, and you can kind of go from there. But you definitely want to primer this. So taped it off here hastily, then we'll just go ahead and spray. Let that sit. I think it says for about 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes. Applying 10 minutes between each coat. But it is pretty cold, so I'll probably wait about 20 minutes and then come back and spray some more. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes. Time to give it another coat. Let that sit. Another 20 minutes, and then we'll give it one final coat. I think a third coat is in order. Okay, final coat. Okay, so we let it dry overnight. Looks pretty good, feels good. Gonna go ahead and wet sand. This is just 1500. I'm gonna like try not to take too much off, but I want to just see if I can smooth it up a little bit and see how it looks after that. It's very good. Feel it. Pull this off. Okay. Sand it up a little bit more. Okay, so let's give it a close-up on it. So a little bit of water on it, you can see the holes are filled. Looks very smooth. Can't tell holes were ever there. So all in all, $40 job. That was just filling 2 of the holes. Obviously I have 22 more to fill. That was just a quick test to see if it can be done. Now I'm going to speed up the process, do a bunch at once as opposed to just 2. But that looks good. I'm satisfied with the job.